Well, good morning, good afternoon, and of course, good evening, traders from across the globe. Welcome, and thank you. And let me show you now for tuning into my 3005th edition of Short-Term Trading Live with All. Traders, how are you? Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar coming at you for the 3005th time on these videos. This video coming at you on a Monday night for trading Monday night through Tuesday. And that would be 12/9/2025. Traders, this is a risky game. If you don't understand the risks behind trading, then you didn't take any Omni trades on Monday because we lost on Monday. This is what happens, but we have stops in. We put them in first, and we always trade with those protective stops in place. So, for trading on Tuesday, we have a couple of things. One, it is Fed meeting, day one of a 2-day Fed meeting, day one of a 2-day FOMC meeting, the Federal Open Market Committee, FOMC if you will. That is Jerome Powell and the board deciding if they're going to lower rates. The likelihood of them lowering rates is extremely high if you look at all of the input data out there and what's expected. We do expect that they will lower rates. So that's one thing going on. The next thing is for day one of the 2-day session, for Tuesday, Omni wants us to start off as a red Omni, as a seller of rallies in U.S. indices. Now, we've been steeped in this Oscarism, if you will, known as the F flag, and it's just bouncing around inside that F flag at this point, marking time before the Fed meeting ends on Wednesday afternoon. So not a lot going on. Omni says sell the rallies and be nimble. That's the thing about trading on Tuesday. Get in, get out, be nimble, sidestep, cancel your stops. Get in, take your profit. Stop goes in first, of course. Then you get short, comes down, take your profit, sidestep, done. That's how we're handling trading tomorrow. Jack be nimble is tomorrow's trading style. Let's look at the ES as well while we're here. E-mini S&P chart, looking basically the same. No different here. The structure looks fantastic for now. Going up inside of the Oscarism known as the F flag. Since Otapma came to the rescue, we've been doing well. Market rallied up smartly and now is inside of this flag. And maybe, just maybe, they're waiting for the Fed signal so they can run it back up. We'll find out one day at a time. We take the Omni signals, one Omni signal at a time. So the indices look like that. And then let me show you another very interesting one. Look at the Dow Jones Transportation Average. Now that has just exploded ever since it did the top one. Over here on the left, top two comes smashing down, finally runs back up, top three, then pulls the Oscarism version of a triple top. Instead of being the top of the market, an Oscarism version is a brief dip, then new highs are made. Blue line, brief dip, blue line till highs are made. Charles Dow has always proclaimed from time to time, not 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but in most cases, the transportation average is your leader. You've heard me say this for years on end. There are articles that have been circulated just today that absolutely reinforce that whole theory that Charles Dow had in the transportation average, which I've studied many times, many years ago. So that's why I bring it up from time to time and leave it on the bottom of this chart. I think Charles knew what he was doing. They named the market after him. Gives him credibility in my eyes. All right, so what else do we have out there? Let's go look here now. With all that stuff going on in the stock market, barely nothing to be honest, waiting for the Fed meeting, we've got this. Traders, maybe I'm wrong. I smell a good old-fashioned Wall Street setup right here. I mentioned it earlier. And I did a few live charts earlier with my OmniX and my Pumpniacs from Pump.Fun earlier today. Showed you this chart. And I mentioned that I thought this is a good old-fashioned Wall Street setup. What does that mean? Well, let's go back to how this thing works. When bond futures, 30-year bond futures, when bond futures go up, it makes interest rates go down. If Jerome Powell doesn't say a word, if he doesn't get out of bed tomorrow, if he doesn't even get up in the morning and hit his alarm clock and sleeps through it all on Wednesday, and doesn't say anything at all, no decision made, if the bond market went up, interest rates would still go lower. So how it works, our economy works like the interest rates in T-bond futures are on a seesaw out in the park, or a teeter-totter. And if interest rates are one side and bonds are on the other, if they're the equal weight, the teeter-totter stays flat. But if interest rates go down and bond futures go up, or the other way around, if bond futures go up, interest rates go down. Okay, so we know that the Fed is getting ready to lower rates. Lowering rates means bond futures go up. Well, why are the bond futures going down right now if they're about to lower rates, which should make bond futures go up? I say that's a good old-fashioned Wall Street setup, because here's my point. Let's look at this seesaw the other way. If they were going to raise interest rates on Wednesday, then bond futures, we'd expect them to go down. But they're not going to raise, they're going to lower interest rates on Wednesday, most likely, and that means bond futures will be forced to go up inherently. Whether Jerome Powell says a word or not, this is the way our economy works. If the 30-year and 10-year bonds futures go up, interest rates are going down. That's the way that works. So back to the puzzle over here. Why is this a good old-fashioned setup? Well, if interest rates being lowered makes bonds go up, why is Wall Street selling them one day before the Fed meeting? I call that a good old-fashioned Wall Street setup. We're going to find out on Wednesday. I don't take a position in front of something like this because I'm not a long-term trader. If I was a fund manager, I'd call that a good old-fashioned Wall Street setup, and I'd be buying additional funds for my fund, additional bonds for my funds, if I was a bond fund manager. Being that I'm a day trader, I don't have to do any of this. I let the Fed speak, I let Jerome speak, the market goes, wow, like crazy, and then we get back in the next day. It's the life of a day trader, I don't have to deal with it. So we don't trade on second day or decision day of a Fed meeting. The Omni doesn't put out trades, so we're safe Wednesday no matter what. But for you, I'm calling this a good old-fashioned Wall Street setup that bonds will end up going back up, not down, and Wall Street's doing this to get a cheaper price. We'll see. We'll see what happens at the end of the Fed meeting on Wednesday. There is a WASDE report. The WASDE report is happening tomorrow. That means we do not trade the grain markets. No wheat, no corn, no oats, no barley, no soy meal, no soybeans. We stay away from all of that. The world agricultural supply and demand expenditures, if I remember right, is WASD. So no trading grains on this day tomorrow. And what else do we have in store for us? Let's go look at this guy, Mr. Bitcoin. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. So traders, oddly enough, the Omni has been fantastic at calling these big moves in Bitcoin. Do you remember when I put 126 target on my whiteboard earlier this year and I said it'll happen in several months? Well, we were thousands of dollars cheaper. In other words, we never even got past 100,000. We were at 85,000. I gave 126 target. You know what the high was up here? 126, if I remember right. What more can someone ask for? Right after that Bitcoin target got hit and it started to move lower, we gave out a target of 80,200. It just about got hit. It got down to 80,400. Now Bitcoin's just hanging around. And it's probably doing the same thing that the stock market's doing, waiting for the Fed decision on Wednesday. But so far, so good on the long-term targets. Now we sit and wait, and I say this gains ground once they lower rates, just like all other assets will gain. Why? Well, if the cost of buying a U.S. dollar gets cheaper for people outside of our country, to purchase American assets, you need American dollars. If the purchase of an American dollar gets cheaper for you with your currency, you get to buy more American assets with the same amount of your currency because you get more US dollars. So that's why lowering rates kind of buoys markets up and assets in America, including real estate. All right, what else do we have? Let's go look here. I think we're looking at, oh yes, we're doing crypto at the moment, so let's round it off with Ethereum. Traders, we are still at that do or die area. I've been showing this to you for 3 days in a row. And for 3 days in a row, we've been at that exact do or die area. So, if it gets above, it does. It's a do. If it gets below, maybe its fate is another drop down to the bottom of the channel, and we have to extend that channel further. I hope that's not the case. I'd prefer to see not this, get above the channel, and go. I think we're going to find out a lot after Wednesday's Fed meeting on all the markets. And then we round it off with the Omni token. OmniX around the world, we love you for what you do. Look what you've done with our Omni token. What a great community us OmniX have been. But it's all about you. It's how you behave. It's that the OmniX come into the rescue. When you see a red bar like this, OmniX come in and buy it up and say, okay, if you want out, you can get out. OmniX don't mind. We'll take those coins. So OmniX around the world, just come in and buy a few each. But a few each is a lot of tokens, and we're able to help organically sustain the viability of our Omni token. So since we created the token, it went up a bit, created a bull flag, had a bull flag breakout, created another channel, had a breakout there. And now we're starting to run up a bit, and I think we're looking at a small pennant flag right here. See this black pennant flag? Here's your pole. Here's your flag itself. I think that's a little pennant flag, and if so, hey, maybe we could work our way even higher. OmniX around the world, unite. I am here to help you. I will back you at every moment with this coin. Back yourselves, protect yourselves, I'll protect you. And we've been having a great community. More people are getting together, by the way. This token has been able to help people around the world, and that is all I do. You know me. I live the Omni to help people around this world, and traders are now being helped by the Omni token. And you traders that own this token, you're helping us leave a dent on this planet. God bless all of you for helping me leave a dent. We are helping people who are maybe less fortunate than us all over the world. We've been doing it with the Omni and fiat markets our whole lives, and now we get to bless the world with a coin that's actually been going up and allowing my OmniX to make a few dollars. I hope this helps you pay for yourselves, your families. God bless all of you OmniX for doing what you do. Keep protecting yourselves, and I will keep protecting you as well. OmniX, what I want to say next is, have a great trading day. Be careful. No grains trading on Tuesday. No trading at all on Wednesday. The markets will be here on Thursday once the Fed makes its decision. Remember, traders, say this with me. 1, 2, 3. Stop Emotions are traders. I'll get in front of the camera tomorrow night. We'll go over a bunch of stuff, and we'll prepare for the Fed meeting on Wednesday. Have a great day, traders. I'll see you all at Live with Oscar.